Today we're talking about belting, something that so many singers want to be able to do. However, often we try and approach it when we don't really understand the technical setup, and it can be really tiring for the voice if we're not belting correctly. Now, belting can be done safely. There are a lot of misconceptions that it's bad for your voice. However, if you understand what you're doing, belting can be healthy, sustainable, and it can sound great as well. So in today's quick singing tips, I'm just going to talk to you about technically what's happening when you belt, and then some easy ways to start to approach this sound. As this is quite high intensity singing, as usual, you can try these tips, but I would always recommend that you then work on your voice in a studio with a singing teacher. So I have been there when I really wanted to belt, but I just thought, I'm just going to give this a go. And I made every mistake in the book. I trained as a classical singer and I was like, I really want to belt. I want to do musical theatre. I want to hit those high notes. So I would try it and I would just pretty much shout. I'd feel this awful pulling in my larynx. I'd feel really tired and then my voice would go really kind of husky and squeezed. And that's everything that we do not want to happen when we belt. So today I'm talking more about pure belt. There's definitely things that we can explore, like a chest voice mix, how we kind of ease off in that quality so we can sustain it. But I'm talking more about that pure belt, that big sound that we might use for one big note in the phrase, one magical moment that we want to bring emphasis to. My head of singing when I was doing my master's at drama school had a saying on the wall. It said, "Belt the whole song, I'm bored. Belt once, I wet myself." With excitement, of course, because if someone just shouts and belts the whole song at you, it's too much, it's intense. So we want to find that moment where we can find that belt note. So let's get stuck in. I'm going to sing you a scale and you'll notice, well, you've probably felt this in your voice, that we get to a point where if we start in thick fold and one chest voice, we get to a point where we feel like we can't take it higher. Ba, 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 ba. I got to a point where I felt like I was pushing, and if I wanted to take it higher, I'd have to do something to engage some muscles to be able to take that quality higher. If I try and take it higher and don't engage these muscles, it's not going to sound great. And I haven't tried this, and I probably shouldn't, because this is an example of what not to do. Ba, 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 ba. Oh, that was extremely flat. I wasn't putting any effort in, and it didn't feel great. So I'll show you some tips of how you can access that belt quality, and then how you can start to take it into that scale so that it feels quite easy to then go up and go into a belt note. I'll then talk to you about the technique and what's actually going on, but you'll feel all these sensations if you try these more primal sounds, and that's a great way to get into the belt quality. So naturally, there are moments where we will just use our belt voice, and we'll do it when we feel really uninhibited. Maybe you're trying to get someone's attention across the street. Maybe someone's about to walk into the road. There's a bus coming, you need to shout, get their attention, or you're cheering at a sports game or something. So if you just have that feel and shout a yeah or a hey, yeah, hey, automatically I'm using chest voice, thick folds, but it feels really easy. And when I do it, I'm not really thinking about taking a huge breath. I'm not thinking about trying to put in a lot of force. It feels completely free in my throat, but my body feels quite physically engaged. Yeah! There's definitely something going on there. So try some of these sounds first of all, and just feel what's going on in your body. Hey is great. Yeah is great. And just put yourself into a situation where you might make that sound. Think about a lot of cultures, maybe in Mediterranean countries, they're in the streets, they're shouting up at each other in the windows, and they're doing it all day and they're not getting tired vocally at all. So once you feel happy with that, you can start to maybe extend it. So start to find a sound that works for you, maybe the yeah, and then just try and keep it going a bit longer, add a bit of kind of movement into it. Yeah! Now, don't try and sing instinctively, because I know what my voice is like. I wanted to try and add vibrato to that note, and that's not going to help when you are belting at all. So technically, going back to what might be going on, thinking about what we're feeling, we don't need much air at all. Our vocal folds are thick during belting, and we want them to really be making good contact and touching when they vibrate. The vocal folds go through a longer closed phase, meaning that they stay together for much longer. So it's more high pressure singing. So if we have more air, it's going to want to blow the folds apart, which we do not want, because that's when we might find that break or crack. You'll also feel that it's maybe more bright, more happy shouting, and that's a really key for belt. As soon as we, hey, do it with a slightly lower larynx position, we can't hit those high notes and it feels just heavy and weighty. So think bright, happy shouting. So technically our larynx is going to sit a little bit higher. Also, our tongue is higher as well. As soon as our tongue starts to pull back, it presses down on the larynx and we lose that setup. So thinking maybe slightly higher larynx position, higher, brighter, forward tongue. We've also got a little bit of AES narrowing, so feeling a little bit more horizontal space at the back instead of vertical. You can check out more about that in my twang video there. And then also physically, we feel some engagement in the body. And this is what we might call anchoring. Now, anchoring can be great for some people and not others. I find when I'm teaching belt, some people will love that really strong, firm anchoring, and others will be walking around, swinging their arms, because they find when they approach belt, they get quite tense. Now, if you are someone that feels scared to make a belt sound, anchoring might not be great for you. You might need to find some more freedom, but feel strong in your body as well. So naturally, you probably are anchoring a little bit, but you're just not focusing on it. So one thing when you're belting as well is that you need to know that it's going to be loud. You need to not hold back. You need to fully commit to the sound. So going back to anchoring, I've got a more in-depth video up there. I just keep doing this. I'm able to link back, which is great. However, when we are anchoring, particularly torso anchoring, we're engaging the muscles of the lats. So if you just put your arms out, imagine you've got oranges under your armpits, squeeze down, you'll feel these muscles all engage. Strong through the feet. It can feel great to have one foot slightly in front of the other. Yeah! That was so much easier. You can also do it singing into the wall. If you press through the wall with one foot in front of the other, again, automatically, lats will engage. It keeps the abdominals nice and free, keeps the neck nice and free. You'll find a lot of sound back in your face. Hey! However, it feels nice and free. So once you're happy with that, how can you put it into your singing? First of all, I would try and encourage that you've got a nice clear sound in thin folds, head voice. So if we're going to do, let's say, an arpeggio, let's do it on a bar. I just like that sound because it's nice and punchy at the start. You can keep it kind of bright as well. So first of all, for the top note, I'm just going to make sure that I can feel the pitch and I can do it with a clear sound. Ba, 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 ba. So I'm just flipping up for that top note so that I know I've got it. I know where I'm going. Ba, 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 ba. Then I want to get into the belt quality. So I might switch on my anchors, think bright, do my primal sound. Hey, yeah. And then come back to my arpeggio and think about getting that top note in the belt. I took a bigger breath then, too much, more than I needed. Ba, 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 ba. Wanting to use my hand. I like movement when I do it. Ba, 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 ba. And find a sound that works for you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ba, ba, ba. Hey. If you lose it, come back to your primal, bright sound as well. If you're someone that gets bogged down with a technique, the primal sounds are going to be really, really useful. You might be someone that loves to focus. You want to think, okay, this is my setup. This is what I'm doing. But really, it's finding the best approach for you. If it starts to feel fatiguing, please take a break, reassess, start to work through it with a teacher. Let me know what is the most useful for you when you're learning to belt. Thanks for watching Quick Singing Tips, and don't forget to hit subscribe.